What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here with CVH.
What's up, everybody? What?
Welcome to Season Two's bracket tournament, featuring the Finnish meta, and just continuing to try to find the best decks.
He's keeping
We
the meme
are,
alive. God dang it.
yeah, for sure. Welcome back to it. We're doing things a little bit differently this time. So, for those of you who have been keeping up with community posts and just some of the previous videos, we are doing a play-in tournament for our 16th seed. The decks in the play-in tournament are Wave Strikers, Light, Light Nature, Fire Nature, Jungle.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Water Dark Fire, Declotans, and Firewater Rush, which we have the match for you today of Wave Strikers, which came in as the first seed for the play-in bracket, and Water Fire Rush, which came in as the fourth seed. CVH piloting Water Fire, and myself piloting Wave Strikers.
Yeah. I just showed the full bracket with the play-in slot, and we're headed to the first match of the play-ins right now. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, so I'm excited and glad we did this. I think this gives some of the decks that and I say last season, but I think it just gives decks more time to be featured before they get thrown into necessarily top 16. I think it's fun for those of you who haven't seen the profiles for these yet. Check them out; they are down below. Um, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. I think Waterfire or not Waterfire, Wave Strikers kind of got the raw end of it last season. We came into season one very high on Wave Strikers, and obviously less high on it in season two as it's sitting here in the plan.
Just checking out Spencer in the bottom right corner there, putting some beats on the speaker. That's why we don't let the raw audio go through everybody. We're listening to music, we're having a good time, people are talking. We did this at my place, and my roommate was home, my partner's home, obviously. Carl's wife was over. It was a
It
lot of
was a
people
busy one.
over. Yeah, my cat was
Yeah.
screaming as she does. But yeah, like you said, this is really cool. Um, these four play-in decks, I don't think any of us would, or any of you would probably consider them top tier, but they are very cool in their own way. Waterfire Rush may not be the quintessential Rush deck, but it does have a lot of cool lines. Wave Strikers, we all think is a really neat deck, and we liked what the edits we made to it with the Killsteins. And Declotans and the Late Fire Nature Jungle, which you'll see in the next match, are also very cool decks that hopefully you enjoy the profiles for and seeing them in action as they fight to see which deck will be the 16th seed. And I don't know who won the die roll here. Whoever
Have
it
to
was
find
is.
out.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's a blessing.
it
Yeah.
is.
So, Wave Strikers didn't see too big of a change, and again, you guys will see. You guys can check out the profile down below, which we did a few days ago. But the big change here was swaps and kill steams. Um, this deck needed more, I guess, burst towards the end of the game against the heavier controls and some of the stronger mid ranges that can keep Wave Strikers off of its ability to get the Wave Striker ability running. And Killstein just gets you there, makes everything huge, makes everything a finisher, and lets you just kind of alpha strike if you're up against a board of what were they called? Valkyrs, whatever they
Yeah,
were.
they were in your deck. But one thing it doesn't
Yeah,
help against is Rush, and the big change to Waterfire Rush, which you just saw, was the turn 1 Deadly Fighter.
yeah,
Yep. It's just really funny to me that you were talking about a 7-drop while getting, like, Deadly Fightered.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you
A
do what
card that
you
you'll
got.
never see this match, and why it was played, just so y'all don't think we're crazy. Oh, maybe you'll see it. Who knows? Hey, Kukpalan's pretty good against the
Yeah,
deck that
good
attacks a
one.
bunch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that card's just unanswerable for me. I don't. There's not a card in my deck that can deal with it. I
Swap.
have to use
Use one of
Azra
those
as a,
swaps.
and that's about it. Yeah, and then I have two swaps, which is just a super not efficient way to deal with a 2-drop. Um, Especially when I'm also trying to get cards on board here. So the spiral gate's very good there. The only time that spiral gate's not good versus like setting up other creatures is if I have um the turnip and the matcha melon, or turnip and another Merlee, or
Yeah.
any combination of 2-drops.
But even then
in
you're
the base.
playing turnips and merlees. And my idea with the spiral gate was I'm
Right.
not developing my board. And ideally, as a rush deck, I'd rather develop the most and make you answer and then use gate on blockers. But I couldn't really afford you to start getting things like Skyscraper Shell or Azure Online. I felt like it
Yeah,
was just
and
better to set you back.
part of me thinks, looking back at this now, that could have just been a free shield there from Relay. I think at the end of the day, my deck still wants to be high tempo, right?
Yeah.
Especially against the deck that should be faster than me. So if I can take you off of, potentially being able to bounce and have to play cards like your Pyro to answer the threat of Merlee, um, that might be a more efficient way to run the deck. But
Mm,
you know,
I think you didn't want to
neither of
increase the. I don't think you wanted to increase the odds that I would either get a shield trigger, spiral gate, or even draw unicorn fish.
right. And part of the line here too is like you've now used two spiral gates and played mana on both the turns you've done it. So you're down to one card in hand,
Yeah,
which I'm not even sure is the pirate fighter now. And
I
with
think it
one creature on
is.
board, there's a good chance. Like, and again, if I can just keep Sappy and Tark on the board, if I can stick him, that card should just be able to answer all of your other creatures and then allow me to start that attack. So that's at least the reasoning here as far as not necessarily breaking with Merlee early. Just trying to stick Sapien Tark, let him start swinging in over any of the cards you start to top deck until I can mount, the potential of a 2-turn kill.
The fist.
I need to shake my fist at the card that I can't swing at. Yeah, going to be a
Kukulon, man.
common thing. Just can't attack it.
I'm
Um,
thinking about something here. I wonder
yeah,
what it is. I think I have pyro and I'm debating playing mana. And it's deadly fighter, so I decide to play mana. That's actually kind of interesting that I would play that in
yeah.
mana.
Why not? Well, I guess just because you don't want Tark to just get the free kill, but
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, you have Tark. Yeah, that's why. Because all
but
yeah,
even still, like,
it's
would
Tark
that
and
not?
it makes a 3 and a 2 live next turn in case I draw that gate again. Like I only have two more gates, but still.
You're right. You're right.
I
I
could
do
just,
like that.
however, keep it in my hand because if I draw gate, I could just like play it next turn. Like you don't have discards, so I don't
Yeah.
think I needed to play it in mana now. I could have kept it in hand to make
No.
you wonder what it was, but I don't think
Right,
playing it
but
on
that.
board was right.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
Oh no, there
because
was another reason to play it in mana because if you did somehow, if you played I don't even
I
know
mean,
what you would
double
do here.
double Azure
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
out here,
If you played
or
double Azra and
or
then you for
swap
some
both.
reason, yeah, but mostly if you played
Okay,
double Azra and then tried to start two turning me, playing Deadly Fighter in mana, if I draw two cards, lets me go up to 6 next turn and play double Speed Attacker, which is maybe an
also
out in
true.
like the most edgiest of edge cases.
Yeah, I like it. You know what?
But
I
clearly
think
you
it
don't have
is.
it.
Yeah, so my goal here was to turn up and hope to hit Kill Sting because I think I've got the swap in hand. But unfortunately, I just don't have enough stuff.
Yeah. A funny
Yeah,
interaction that didn't happen because you didn't play Killstein and I didn't have liquid people, but like we thought about it. You're like, yeah, Killstein's kind of just, you win the game against Russian. I'm like, well, Paladin.
yeah.
Killstein makes everything
Paladin
a
does
blocker, and then
bump the board. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
yeah. I think consulting deck lists. I'm looking at like how many spiral gates and stuff. I think
Gonna be a common theme throughout this tournament. So get
yeah,
ready
I
for all
mean,
of it.
looking towards season 2, that spoiler, like we kind of I mean, these decks are we're more familiar with, even though they're kind of new builds of them. But a lot of these decks we barely played at all. In some cases, quite a few cases in my experience, the match you'll see in top 16 was literally the first game I played with the deck, which is not the case for anything in season 1. At least we played a couple test games, but since we had limited time to start recording, we just like built the deck, didn't even record the profile before the match, and just jammed it. So you will see us referencing lists, and it's not like we're not doing it in bad faith or anything. Like opponent can't see me checking my phone. We like want to know what these decks have and what the outs are, so we could try to play them as well as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I again, that speaks to while obviously I think both of us are playing to win. Um, again, the theme of these bracket tournaments is to give you guys the best showcase of what these decks are capable of. In and within their matches. So, that's all we're going for here. And like like CVH said, none of it comes in bad faith, but we're here to put on a good show for you guys. Uh, that means we need to see how many of a card are in our deck because we've forgotten. So be
Yeah.
it.
Sometimes you just forget, especially
There's
because we're like
16 of them.
we're like
Oh,
playing.
19 of them. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're playing like one game with these decks, or like one match, and then we're moving on to new decks. Like we have to switch like modes in our brains so quickly. It's hard to
Yep.
like
Yep.
get in the zone with the deck. Like over a 1 day tournament, you'd start really getting in the zone, but not in this
So
case.
in the zone is that is a Duel Masters reference, right? Not to take away
Um,
from the match that's playing out. We'll get back to that in a second.
like
But
the battle zone
where is that from?
in
I'm gonna
the
get in the
zone is
zone. Is
just a
that
common
no? But they used to
phrase.
say it, and I can't remember if that was the Duel Master show or not. Someone's
Chalk
gonna correct
zone,
it.
get in the zone. Chalk zone.
Chalk. Rudy's got the chalk, but
That show was banging. Loved it.
all of it was. We grew up in a great time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, look at this. It's happening again. Kook Paloon followed up with the turn 3 Spiral Gate to keep me off of Wave Strikers. Can't say that I'm not probably. I think I'm getting frustrated on camera right now, but at least
Good.
I have the I've got Wave Strikers live, and the Killstein is loaded. Fortunately, one of two swaps is in the mana zone already.
Maybe that's why I like Waterfire Rush, because I'm not traditionally an aggro player, but like it's like a traditional rush deck, but it's more frustrating to play against. And since it takes another turn or two to win, it prolongs the frustration. And
Yeah.
I really just vibe
So,
with that.
key little grab here. So turnip, I grabbed the turnip and not the Azra straight up. My goal here is that if he wants to get real bouncy and cute again, I'll have two wave strikers to play versus the potential of just one. Grabbing the turnip guarantees that I have on this turn now the ability to play turnip and then anything I grab back from mana, namely the Azra at this point, if I don't have another 3 in hand.
I like it.
So, unfortunately, CVH has the Rickaby Screwdriver, so shout outs to that card. Finally seeing some utility here and keeping me off of what otherwise would be a very obvious play.
Yeah, spoiler, as you'll see in the Fire Nature Rush deck profile, we wound up cutting it from that version of this deck, of that deck. But in Waterfire Rush, the 2-drop slot is a lot more limited. We don't have Poisonous Mushroom or Gonta, so it still makes an appearance here, and Waterfire Rush continues to be a very anti-blocker rush deck.
Yeah, questionably here, I grab I put Killstein down, and I'm wondering why I
Hmm.
would do that if I'm not trying to set up the potential of a 2-turn kill here.
You put it down just now?
Um, I
Wait, are you sure
did.
it
I
didn't come down with the turnip?
I am very sure.
Oh, what came down with turnip? The other Killstein?
Yeah. Maybe the other Killstein did come down with Turnip. I don't
Well,
know.
did they both come down with turnip?
But either way, if I played mana there and put Killstein down, I think that might have been a mistake. But
Well, you
ideally
couldn't have
here,
played it this turn. I kind of get it, right? Because you can't.
you're right.
It's not going to do much next
You're
turn,
right. I
really.
can't play it the following turn, right? I would still need a swap to get it out. But
Yeah, it's fine.
put you on a 2-turn clock here. Rickaboo Screwdriver is going to get the favorable the kill here over Azra. But that puts you on 2 attackers with the inability because your fast attackers being Dismantler and Pyrofighter, you can't play 2 this turn.
Gosh dang
So I
it,
know I
Carl! We're in
can't
season 2. They're speed attackers.
okay. Speed attackers, fast. They're fast boys.
Yeah,
Go that route.
I have a lot of not fast
Fast
boys.
boys. Yeah. There's a lot of fire rush coming for my life here.
I can barely trade with a turnip. Love that.
Yeah, because you tried to swing over Merlee for a second, and then we had to have that conversation of how much power does it actually have.
Yeah, very depressing. Yep, the out there was a pyro or dismantler with the spiral gate, but I am plumb out of gates, so it looks like I'm gonna have to rely on some shield triggers of my own. Currently, I just
Yeah.
need one gate or something, just a gate actually in shields because I don't have surfer.
Yeah,
But
and
we'll see if I have it.
giving me cards here isn't necessarily um wrong
Prob
here. I mean,
yeah.
at
It's
the end of the
tough.
day, you wanna get past the holy all. Like, the holy all is what blows you
Yeah.
out. Like, and if you can take the 50-50, and if it is down there, hit it and get it out of the way, that's the goal, right?
And that
So,
said, you have one on. Man, I probably should have just not done that.
yeah.
Just to increase the odds that you have a speed attacker of your own this turn to really make life hard for me. But here we are. I think you might.
Unfortunately, Wave Striker's only speed attacker is Pyrofighter, and I had the one in mana, so
Yeah. There's still 4 in the deck. And here we go.
everything's
Now I
changed.
need 2 gates. And I have 0 gates.
Got there.
We are going to
So,
game
oh,
3.
and there it was. Could have given it to me. Look at that.
Wow. Yeah. True. For all I know, I could have given you the turnip. I don't know if that happened. But we're moving on to game 3. And this is actually the first game of the match that Waterfire Rush will be on the play, which is really where it wants to be. Would
Yeah,
love to see a win the die roll or just, being on the play. With the new addition of the 1-drop, which, wow, really makes a
and
difference in a rush deck
outside
sometimes.
of outside of either jamming it, I mean, it ended up in mana on turn 5, game 1, and you drop 2 out to
Yeah.
0 avail in game 2 there. So
Oh,
hopefully
yeah,
we
you
see it
don't
when we
really
go.
want them on turn 5. Except if their
But
name is Aqua Guard, then you can play Guard Paladin on turn 5, and that's pretty juicy a lot of the time.
do enjoy that. Yeah. So there are again, check the profile out. The liquid people, we reduce the count on this deck a lot. So it's 2 guard, 4 Hulkus, 2 paladin. We let that be a minor engine in this deck versus what was, I think, originally the appeal of it.
Yeah, now the
With
appeal
all
is just,
and stuff, we just
yeah.
we decided to play the good cards this time.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Paladin's great. I could have even played 3 guards. I was kind of fighting for it, but either way is good. But the
Yeah,
appeal is just like it's still fast and it has more disruption and card draw than a traditional rush deck. Very similar in that regard to the Water Fire Light Rush deck you'll see later, except it has a little bit more disruption and it's a little less fast because it has fewer 1-drops. It doesn't have Tulk,
right.
but it gets mana screwed less. So like all these different rush decks, they're all trying to win the game fast. They're just different pros and cons that are probably slightly better or worse depending on the matchup. But they're all cool and they can all definitely win games. And I did have a crazy good start with
Yeah,
the
you did.
Deadly Fighter into Bull Razor. Kook would have been better in
Right.
this matchup, but I can't complain because the board is clear.
Yeah, the first time being off the play here, and I don't see my 2-drop for the first
Yeah,
time in 3 games, which is
very unlucky
really
timing.
difficult. Yeah, taking you off this third attacker here was. I mean, obviously, at this point, you can see it. He's already presenting lethal at turn 3, but taking him off of that lethal was
Fish.
was necessary. Unicorn fish just for the bad beats, and yeah, no
Wow.
blast, and unfortunately, strikers is about as yeah, that's a hell of a way to go. Tell you what, man,
Wow. That was
you know,
really fast. My goodness.
sure was over before you blinked, before you could blunk,
Before you could blunk.
before you could even blunk.
And there you have it. The
Yeah, man.
first match of the season 2 is over. Just like that. We did it. We are halfway done the play-in.
Yeah, yeah. So Waterfire
Sort of.
Rush proceeds on to face the winner of Jungle versus Declatans. And I gotta say, and final thoughts on this from me is just, we came in so high season 1 on Wave Strikers. Um, obviously we dictated it to the play in here, but if I'm being honest, I think one because you and I both ranked it, high enough for it to at least have made it into the top 15 decks. But going back, I think one of the reasons I kind of slated it for the play in is because I really wanted to see it beat 2 decks. I wanted to see this deck get its due, if that makes sense. But
You're
just
like, it'll
play
beat these play-in decks, these weaker
right. It's
decks.
got right. These are again, not that our rankings mean anything, but we deem this the best of the other 3 play index. I had a good feeling that Wave Strikers could beat any of the 3 of these any given day. And for it to take the beat against Waterfire Rush and just out in the first round yet again, it's just I don't know if that's telling or where I'm really trying to go with this, but Wave Strikers, I still feel like it's a good deck. I'm still not convinced that
I still
it's
think it's good. Like
bad.
good, not great. I don't think it's bad.
Right, and
I think like matchup theory and like deck strategy tends to matter more than individual card quality. Like yeah, Water Fire Rush isn't as fast as Fire Nature, but it's still in essence the same kind of deck, and that kind of deck really preys on Wave Strikers if anything goes wrong, like losing the die roll or missing your 2-drop or just like hitting a single shield trigger or something, or like a Spiral Gate. It's like Wave Strikers has such a really high ceiling of power, but it's so fragile. Like if it gets behind by a centimeter, the game is like impossible to get back. Like your best things are like you need to have two things on board. You play Goliath, and your like good tempo becomes insane. Or like if you don't get them online by turn 4, your board is just like 3 cost 2,000 dudes, and you're like, what's gonna happen? Hopefully my opponent
right,
bricks.
right. And in that same sense, just to like go off of it, single elimination brackets definitely aren't the best way to showcase a deck. But at the end of the day, I thought Wave Strikers would at least, take a few wins out of this plan and go into the top 16 with some momentum.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that just wasn't the way it broke. In other news, though, Fire, um, really showing off with a lot of these new tech cards. I say tech cards, just cards that it should have been running all along. Really proving that they hold their weight in gold. Deadly Fighter on one continues to just be the best one drop. Um, getting rid of some of the dead weight and Walter and just playing more into the bounce with Spiral Gate, Unicorn Fish, and all of the really annoying 2 drops. I think that's where this deck wants to be, and I think it showed us why it's at least deserving to stand a chance at making it into the top 16. So
Yeah.
really, really, really glad to see how that performed and did well, and excited to see how it does in next match in the play-in finals.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll see which match or which deck between Light Fire Nature Jungle and Water Fire Dark Declotans, which I just said in a weird order, is gonna face Water Fire Rush in the next match.
Oh man, everything's here to tongue tie us. All these
Yeah,
all these civilizations. We're never going to get it right all the time.
I listed it
But
right. I'm looking
bear
at
with
it.
us. Yeah. Bear with us, and we will get through it all, guys. Reading is hard. We love you guys. Thanks so much. Leave a comment down below, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peach.